Welcome to the Squared Circle Gridiron. I am Don Wayne, joined by Ron. We are missing Ricky today, buddy. Thinking of you, hoping work's going well, man. You got a busy week. Ron, we got a busy show here. We had a lot going down. I mentioned it last week on Twitter. We're down to the last few solid weekends of college football before all of the championship games start off and we get into bowl season. And I know it sounds like we got a lot of time left. We really don't. And
No, we
it's kind of
don't.
made me sad last week thinking about it. What'd you think? You think about it at all?
Yeah, especially after you sent the text out, because like I said, this is this has been such a rewarding time for me, just because of the fact that I've been able to watch college football in a long time, and to be able to sit there and watch games, a bunch of games all day Saturday, and then talk about it, it's been great. So now we're gonna come to a point where it's like, oh shit, we're not gonna be able to talk about college football. We'll figure something out, because
It's going away, man. It's going away, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Speaking of sad, I mean, I don't know how else to get into this. I feel like we're living in Groundhog Day, Ron. I mean, I do. Every weekend with them damn Trojans, it's the same story. Offense is prolific. Defense is just complete garbage. I know they fired their defensive coordinator. It's a little bit too late, in my opinion. They were going toe-to-toe with Washington for 3 straight quarters, and in that fourth quarter reared its head and just they couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter where they had to have it. I don't know. You're the fan. You tell me, what's the most disappointing thing about how this season has gone other than the defense? I know that's it.
The defense and the defense. I mean, because the defense and Caleb Williams' attitude.
What do you mean by his attitude?
He just he seems almost like disconnected a little bit from the team. I know we talked about the little showing him crying in his mommy's arms in the stands and stuff, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Maybe he does care, but then I couldn't find out that nope. He made a comment about he just want to go home and cuddle with his animals.
Here was my go ahead.
Instead of I need to be with my team, I need to look at film, I need to figure out what we could do better, what I could do better.
I can understand him being emotional after a loss. I can understand him shedding a few tears, but he was sobbing uncontrollably in the stands. And that kind of shook me a little bit, as somebody who watches football all the time. You don't see that very often. And I'm curious what other people think. To me personally, I think it's a young guy who doesn't really know how to check his emotions and doesn't know how to do well in that instance. I don't think he knows how to handle that kind of perseverance. John, thank you. The Broncos did great. They didn't lose this weekend. We'll get into that. But it's one of those deals where it bothered me as a man watching somebody cry like that. I mean, you would have thought somebody might have died the way he was crying. That was a little bit too much. That showed me maybe there's an emotional immaturity that he hasn't gone through yet as a young man. Maybe he hasn't seen enough in life, if you will. That's just what I thought. Other than that, the football game, I want to get back into that. God bless America. Their defense is bad. Their defense is bad. It's the worst I think I've ever seen. And I take nothing away from what Washington did offensively. Their defense wasn't exactly stellar either.
No.
But they at least, when they had to have it, they came up big. They shut them down in the fourth quarter. They didn't let them do anything. It was that time. They said, okay, we got to make a stand now. We got to do it now. And they did just that. Tip your cap to them. Here's my next question, because we're going to get to this game, and I'm going to ask you this. Who's the front runner right now for the Heisman in your mind?
Penix.
Penix, you think?
I think so.
I think it's Penix just because of the team. If we said, and I'm going to get into this game now, LSU and Alabama, right? I mean, I think we've beat up on USC long enough. It's just defense is bad. LSU and Alabama came out there in another game where defense was optional. And this was the mill row I remember from seeing last season. When Young got hurt, he was running all over the field. He was taking the play in his hands. He was making a play with his feet when he had to. And Jaden Daniels, I know he's not going to get it because of the losses his team's had. Go look up his numbers. His numbers are absolutely Heisman worthy. I want to say, and I looked it up earlier, I think he actually leads the nation in touchdown passes.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
And I
Sorry,
think
he's second. He's second to Caleb Williams. He's got 27.
But I think he leads the nation in percentage.
He leads in a lot. He's got a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, his numbers are next level. Penix has all the numbers, but it's that team feel right now. It's that team feel that everybody has. The team's rolling. I watched this game. Alabama is rebounded. Everybody calling for Nick Saban's head at the beginning of the year. You look like jackasses. We said it earlier. He would figure this team out. He would put them in a way to go. It is what it is. Alabama's going to roll. They're going to figure this shit out. They're going to make you. I don't want to play Alabama right now, right?
No.
I don't want to play Alabama. As a Georgia fan, I don't want to play them.
No.
They look like the team to beat all of a sudden. Them and Oregon look like two damn down and dirty teams that you do not want to face right now. Just me.
I agree.
Big Lou, I know you like McCarthy. I got a problem with McCarthy. I'll get into later.
Yeah, I don't like McCarthy.
Go ahead. Tell me what you thought about the Alabama-LSU game, man, because it just looked like LSU's defense finally showed up, the one we were worried about.
Yeah, it was back and forth the first half, and then as soon as Daniels went out with concussion, is he out for how long is he out?
I don't know if he's out extended. I haven't heard anything about that, and I don't see our LSU resident expert here yet.
Yeah.
He will usually tell us, but when he got concussed, that was the game. You knew that was the game. That was all they had for him, man.
That was game because LSU's defense didn't show up the second half.
There's Larry says he's day to day.
Okay. The same thing happened last week with Alabama. Whoever they played last week is like, okay, they toyed around when they played Tennessee last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago. And they were toying around, and then all of a sudden they just turned on, the defense turned on. It was another game that they played clean too, penalty-wise.
They did. They played, but
yeah.
I get back to this though. LSU, what happened to your defense, man? How is it that bad? How is it that bad, man? I have no words for how bad it's been. As somebody who thought LSU might be somebody, I had questions about Daniels coming into the season. I got no questions now. That kid's been for real. He's been everything LSU fans could hope for and more. Tip your cap to him. Alabama's rolling right now. They're the team right now in the SEC. They don't look pretty, but they win late when it matters, and that's what you got to have in football this time of year specifically.
They're like you said, them, Georgia, and Oregon are the three strongest teams I see right now playing.
Yeah, and Michigan is up there, but we haven't seen them play anybody, and that's sort of why I got questions. I got questions about them. But I'll give Michigan credit. We can talk about this game real brief. They're beating the hell out of teams that they are clearly better than. They're not letting them hang around. They're not showing up flat. They're putting you to the floor, knocking you out, and then moving on to the next opponent. And right now, all you can say is, all right, until somebody shows me Michigan's not the team to beat, in my mind, that's the team to beat. And like I said, I know they ain't played top-tier competition, but, man, they're killing it right now.
And they're doing it through the controversy of the sign stealing, too. You think about like Michigan State, how they fell apart once all this stuff came up about Tucker, how they fell apart, and Michigan is still keeping it together through all the controversy that's going on. And who knows when the hammer's gonna be laid down, but the hammer's gonna be laid down, sounds like pretty soon.
I thought they came out and said today, NCAA said they found nothing wrong. I read an article about that today. Yeah, so they didn't see anything wrong.
Okay, cool.
The issue with that whole thing going on right now is it's taking away the Heisman votes for the quarterback in Michigan. It's put a lot of doubt in his mind how much he's actually reading the team versus how much information he was getting fed. So that's neither here nor there. His stats to me aren't good enough to be Heisman worthy. He's not up there. Let me go look this up real quick while I'm talking about this because I
would put Milroe in front of him.
Well, Bo Nix is actually he's I don't see 1, 2, 3. I'm looking for him, man. I don't even see him in top 10 in passing yards.
No.
So that's why I sort of got questions about him. I just can't do it. So it is what it is. The Oklahoma game, Oklahoma State, right? That's got to be embarrassing if you're Oklahoma, right? This is your last rivalry game against Oklahoma State in the Big 12, and you lose. Like, you lose to this team. You're still in the playoff hunt. You've still got a shot to play for a national title, and you just lay an egg. Bowman passed for 334 yards and not a single touchdown. How the hell is that possible? How is that possible that you don't throw for a single touchdown if you throw for that many yards? Unbelievable. Oklahoma, like I said last week, they are who I thought they were.
Yep.
They still can't play consistent defense. Their offense is still suspect in the biggest times. What did you think of that game? Did you catch much of it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going back and forth that game and another game. There's so many good games. Shit.
There was a lot of good games.
Oh, good games. It's hard to keep up, man. Gabriel, who he was, I thought he is too. He's not, all the hype about him being Heisman. I don't think so. He can't lead the team when it's needed. Oklahoma just, I wasn't buying into them in the beginning. They beat Texas. And I think they should have lost against Texas, and that just propelled them into like the limelight. I don't think they belong there, and they're showing that right now too.
Daniel Gabriel was big on the running yards, right? He had negative rushing yards in this game. They did not let him get loose.
No.
They had a spy on him. They shut him down. Tip my hat to Oklahoma State. I'm a man. I'm 40. Anybody knows what that reference is, go look it up. It's one of the greatest clips you'll ever see in your entire life. Oklahoma State losing his shit one day after the press conference. You mentioned Texas, and I do want to talk about this because they don't have their quarterback. No. I'm trying to find this game right now. They don't have their quarterback. I watch it at halftime. I don't flip it back until the fourth quarter to see what's going on because they were up 27-7 at half. I said, this is a wrap. There's no need to keep watching this. I'll go watch something else. Flip over to the fourth quarter. Suddenly, Kansas State is there tying it up. Mike Gundy, there you go. Somebody got it. I have no words for Texas. They survived this game. They did not win this football game.
No, they did not win.
And I know they got their backup quarterback going, and he did not have a good second half, and he did not play the way he did in the first. The first half, he couldn't miss. The second half, he couldn't hit. It was like watching two different teams that entire game. I will tip my hat, though, to Texas for carrying on. Kansas State is clearly better than I thought. What did you think? I'm sure you probably had the same thought I did. You went somewhere else at halftime and came back like, what the hell happened, guys?
Yeah, I was going back and forth with that game to another game. It just seemed like Texas didn't show up in the second, or Kansas State showed up more in the second half than the first half. They just started hitting it and running, and just playing a whole better game than Texas. They figured out the quarterback was able to stop him too. Oh, yeah. Texas had a couple costly penalties too.
They did, but in the end, they won in overtime. All you can say is you play to win the game.
Yeah.
They won. Tough opponent. Yeah. Ewers wasn't in. They're still in the playoff hunt. They're still in. Oklahoma's not. Oklahoma's gone.
Now, did they win because they won, but that's because Kansas State's coach brought out his brass balls. That? He brought his brass balls, said, screw this. I'm going for a touchdown instead of a field goal. And, hey, I kind of respect that. Why not?
Here's my issue with that, right? Here's my issue with that. You've got a chance to have one of the biggest upsets in your coaching career right now. You can knock out one of your arch rivals. And you just say, we're going for it now. When you had a chip shot field goal, go to double overtime, you never know what's going to happen. What happens if Texas turns it over the first couple of plays, right? That backup was looking shaky as it was. Yeah. I felt like Oklahoma State gave them the game. I don't so much feel that Texas won it. They made a play when they had to, I'll give them that, but Oklahoma State went right down the field, got down to the goal line, and then couldn't finish the deal. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Ricky, we're thinking of you now, buddy, because your most beloved team, Notre Dame, went down to Clemson. Ricky, if you guys don't know, our normal compadre, not a fan of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, believes they're overrated every year, and I'm sort of in agreement with them. They get that love for no reason.
Yep.
And this, man, look, this game was ugly, man. The score does not indicate how ugly this football was.
Ew.
There was a lot of Phil Maffa running the football and not a whole lot of real good passing going on in this game. It just was ugly. Notre Dame couldn't make a play in the fourth quarter to save their life, and neither could Clemson. Clemson fumbled the ball in the fourth quarter, fumbled it close to the goal line, and Notre Dame could do nothing with it. Just what happened to the Notre Dame team we saw earlier this year? It's like we're watching two different teams. Am I alone with that, or are you with me on that?
Oh, no. I agree. I was happy to see it happen, too. I hate Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame.
But it looked bad, right? Like it just looked like an ugly game on both sides of the ball.
It's just they didn't show up. I don't know what it is too. Because so what? They lost to Clemson, Louisville, and who was the other battle? 2 other bad losses, right?
Let me go back and look. You keep going. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
So I think the showing they had against the Trojans and their defense playing against the Trojans made them look better than what they actually were. I wasn't never buying into them because Hartman. Yeah. But when they played Boston College, they barely won.
Yeah, they played. So they lost to Ohio State, which we said that was a tough game because it felt like Ohio State didn't win, but that Notre Dame lost that game. They lost to Louisville where they got thumped. Louisville thumped them in that game
hard.
And then they just lost to Clemson, which Clemson is sneaky 5-4. And I know a lot of people are coming down on Clemson. You guys calm down. They're trying to rebuild that program. It takes time. They don't have the pieces yet. I think when you win a couple of national titles, though, you get a little bit of a reprieve on being a 13-win team every year if you're Clemson. You're not Alabama, Clemson fans. Calm the hell down, okay? They win a couple of titles, and suddenly Clemson fans think that they're Alabama. You're not. You're not Ohio State. You're not Alabama, and you're not USC. Stop it. You're all ridiculous with your fandom. Absurd how they were acting.
USC's not USC right now, so I mean, put them in the same conversation.
Well, I'm just saying historically.
Yeah.
Historically.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Clemson has been a good team for the most part. They've been great the last decade. Yeah. Now they're trying to figure that thing out.
But it's a game that Notre Dame should have just hands down beat the shit out of them. Should have beat them.
Can't disagree. I can't disagree with that. They should have. I mean, they got better players. It just every now and then, man, Notre Dame just comes out there and lays that goose egg, and you can't figure out why they did it.
And Hartman, some weeks Hartman looks like a pro quarterback. There's some weeks like last week, he's like, oh no, he might not make it.
Oh no, I gotta play football again?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought I was done.
Yeah.
My back at Wake Forest. I want to go back to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
On to another game that I watched the end of. Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Did you see this?
Oh, that was a great game.
Okay. Tell everybody what happened at the end because I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
God, now you have to think.
Missed 2 field goals.
Oh, yeah, missed 2 field goals. Yeah.
Yeah, missed 2 field goals, and the second one came up like 5 yards short. It wasn't that bad. I mean, Ole Miss, they're still there. Ole Miss is still winning. They're quietly 8-1. No one's talking about Ole Miss being 8-1. They're 8-1. And if I remember correctly, their only loss was to Alabama, correct?
Yeah.
So quietly, there it is, 24-10. They got whooped again because Lord knows they love to try to do trickery against Nick Saban. I will never understand that as long as I live, why they decide to pull the bullshit Rooskies on Alabama of all teams. The guy who's seen everything. That's the guy you want to try to run trick plays on? Come on, man, you're better than – well, actually, no, they're not better than that, are they? Okay, so that's that. The other game we had was the Georgia and the Missouri game. And I got to take my homer hat off here, and I'm going to have to defer to you. Is Georgia just not that good, or is Missouri better than people think?
I think Missouri's better than people think.
Because they were balling. I mean, they're tough. In my opinion.
I can't remember the kid's name, the quarterback from Missouri. He gave, 2 or 3 interceptions?
Yeah, he gave him 2.
Yeah, at bad times, too. So you take away those interceptions.
The guy that got
Missouri balled out.
Did you see Cody Schrader running the football, by the way?
Yeah.
That big hammer just kept running the ball right up in there over and over and over again. Dude, let me go make sure I get this right. Do you know what that kid's averaging per carry this year?
7?
5.7 yards per carry. And yes, Larry, that's 2 years in a row. Missouri has played them dogs as tough as they can get. He's averaging 5.7 yards per carry.
Wow.
He's 5'9", 214. The kid was a hammer all game. He carried it 22 for $112 and a touchdown. Here's the kicker out of that 112. His longest was only 13 yards. So he was just hammering 6 yards all game. Hammer. I mean.
And it wore him out.
It really did. And you could tell them Georgia Bulldogs were tired at the end of that.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they didn't keep going to him. But I guess at 22 carries at that size, you're sort of pushing your luck with that kid for something bad happening. So Missouri, I know I wouldn't want to play them right now if you're trying to get in that playoff spot. Watch them out for them. That Schrader kid, I can't. I'm gonna look forward to watching them in a bowl game. I don't know about you. I'm gonna go out of my way to find whatever bowl game they're in, and see if they use that Schrader kid a little bit more.
Yeah. What year is he? Is he a freshman or a sophomore?
I can't remember, man. To be honest, let me go look him up. What game were you watching while I'm looking this guy up? What game you want to talk about next? What got your attention?
Shit.
Oregon stomping Cal.
Yeah, no, that wasn't on TV. I watched a little bit of I watched almost 3/4 of the Colorado-Washington Colorado game.
Oh man! All right, go ahead. No, I'm gonna let you take this because they got 2 games left, right? Does Colorado have 2 or 3 games left?
3. They're not gonna make a bowl game. I don't think. They might sneak in. The sad thing is,
by the way, Schrader's a senior.
He's a senior. The offensive line, they switched offensive coordinators. So Pat Schumer.
Yeah, I saw that. They made that switch.
But then do any good because they're still going to protect Schroeder. So instead of having like a 12-man, 2 tight ends and 1 chipping away, they don't do that. And he just got beat up. And it wasn't for the last 8 minutes of the game. They came back and he looked good, but
they got beat up pretty good in this game.
Yeah, it actually just came out about an hour ago that Deion said that both boys are declaring for the NFL draft.
Shut up! Breaking news. Did they really?
Yep. And Deion said that, not the kids, the dad. Now, if you think about it, the dad's going, I don't want my son to be brutalized this again next year because he knows it's going to take probably 2, maybe 3 recruiting classes and the portal.
I had not heard that, Ron.
Yeah.
So both Sanders boys are going to come out in the draft, is what you're telling me.
Yep.
You just blew my hair back. I had no idea that was coming.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that up and see what he said officially. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it came off Bleacher Report, I believe. I'll find it and send it to you.
I did watch some of the Ohio State Rutgers game.
Yeah, that was.
It was close, man, until the fourth quarter, or third or fourth, late in the third quarter. Like, it was a close game. Rutgers was giving them all they could handle. I'm still not sold on Ohio State. What about you? Am I crazy?
No. Well, they should have blown them away. They should have done what Oregon did. Blow that team away. That was ridiculous. It was up until the second half, maybe midway through the third.
The third and fourth quarter, man.
Ugly.
Yeah.
It's like, God. Like, they're not rated. They're not top team now because Georgia got top spot now. But I don't see how they're top 4. I really don't. Is it because they're the Big Ten?
It's because they're undefeated in the Big Ten. They're undefeated in the Big Ten.
Yeah, but good God. Don't they look and watch, or they just go by?
They have not played what I would call Ohio State football this year. They really haven't.
Was last week they played Indiana, the same thing, wasn't it? They let Indiana hang around for a while.
They were struggling in that game too. Yeah. So
what's going to happen? Oh, Michigan's going to
So here we got Colorado's got 3 games left. At home against Arizona, on the road against Washington State, and on the road against Utah.
No, I don't know. Arizona's a tough out, man.
They all are. Every one of those teams is a tough out. Like,
they very well. I mean, if they can't fix the offensive line, like I said, the defense showed up. The defense played good.
They would have to win 2 of those 3 games, and I don't see it. Anybody else see it? Because I don't see it.
No, I don't see it. I have no.
Well, that pretty much covers everything in the college world this past weekend. We got some big games coming up this weekend, Ron. Have you looked ahead of the schedule?
Yeah. No,
your favorite team, Utah, plays Washington.
Yeah, that's the game I want to see. Yeah,
you're going to watch that one. I figured you would.
Yeah.
The one that I'm looking forward to is Ole Miss and Georgia play.
Yeah.
And Larry says Colorado, LLLL. He don't see a win at all. And I'm probably with Larry. If they get one, it's going to be late in overtime or something. Yeah. Georgia and Ole Miss play this weekend. I will be watching that. It's the night game this weekend. I can't wait to watch it. Oregon plays USC. I feel like there's a lot less riding on that game now. However, I wouldn't be surprised if USC showed up for that game and spoiled Oregon's chances of getting into the playoffs. Because a loss to USC at this point, this late in the season, might be able to do them in. Like, that could be the kiss of death if that happened. And Tennessee plays Missouri. So we got some ranked football teams this weekend, man. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I think Missouri will beat Tennessee.
You think so?
I think so.
Look, you know how I feel about Tennessee's quarterback situation.
That's why. Yeah, that's why.
I mean, it just nothing about that team has impressed me. That's all I got right now, Ron. The college, you got anything else for me?
No, I hope this next weekend is just as good as this past weekend.
God, it's getting good right now, isn't it? It's getting so good. Every weekend I'm sitting there like I'm just eating steak, just football, man. I'm loving every bit of it, man. Great game after great game. I told my wife earlier, I said, college football starts at noon Saturday, and that couch and me got a date. Don't ask me for nothing. It's go time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Larry said LSU plays Florida, so I know what my man will be watching. On to the NFL, the first game last week, Pittsburgh and the Titans. And I don't know what to say.
I think well, other than the offensive coordinator, but I think Pickett was still hurting just by some of the throws he was throwing last week. They're off. They're going to rely right now on their defense. And their defense is badass.
I saw a stat that said that the rookie Stroud for
has more
Houston more touchdown passes than Pickett does already. Dude, that's not a good sign.
They've been in the bottom.
Just saying.
They've been in the bottom 3 offensively for the last 3 years. And they can't. They need to fix that because that's a good team. Then you got Pickens.
Wait, what's a good team? Hold on. What's a good team? I got to hear this now.
Steelers.
You think the Steelers are a good team?
I told you Steelers going to win their division. I told you at the beginning of the season.
I think Pittsburgh is the worst 5-3 team I've ever seen. They are god awful. But
they're winning.
They're winning. I mean, I can't take it away from them, but it's the ugliest wins you've ever seen. And I don't think they're real. And I know I'm not alone in that. I don't think anything about this team is real. Will Levis is what impressed me in this game, and that's what I stood there and watched.
Yeah. He was poised. He was poised.
Thank you. Say it again.
He was poised. Even taking hits, he was poised. He didn't get happy feet. He didn't get all scared like some of these other quarterbacks do. Yeah, he was impressive.
Stared that pass rush down and delivered the ball down the field on the money. Yeah. I was super impressed with the kid. I think he's the guy, and I think he's going to be their long-term answer. And I know it's early and it's only 2 games in, but anytime I see a quarterback stare down the barrel like that and know he's going to get hit and still deliver a pass, I mean, that's it. And Larry just said it happened officially. Levis has been named the starter. Tannehill's the backup.
That's what I was just going to say.
Appreciate you boys for letting us know.
Larry stole my thunder.
Well, that's what Larry does. He's a thief in the night.
Yeah, Pickens is a crybaby, John. Just somebody said that Pickens is going to be another Antonio Brown and Claypool.
Oh God, no. He doesn't have enough head trauma yet.
Yeah,
he's got to have some more hits to the head. On to the German game. This was kind of exciting. I mean, the fans were really into this Kansas City-Miami game. And Ron, KC's defense is better than their offense. And I didn't think I'd be saying that.
I know.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
No, and Mahomes is happy about it too.
Because he's not having to carry the entire load.
Exactly.
I mean, he didn't throw any picks this game. The running game is still just non-existent for Kansas City. I don't know what they're going to do about that. But Tua was held to under 200 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just all over. When they had to come up big, they made a play. They had 3 sacks in the game. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Don't know about Dolphins.
I don't know what to make of this Kansas City offense. And like John said, look, man, Rice is not that guy. They don't have speed on that offense. And they've drafted wide receivers early the last 2 rounds, and they're supposed to be speed guys. And then come Sunday, I don't see any speed at all I don't see any speed.
Yeah.
Do you see any speed on this team? Am I missing something? Am I missing the boat here?
No, they don't seem there's no chemistry between Mahomes and the receivers. None. I don't know why or what's happening there. And that causes everybody. Now they could double and triple team Kelsey.
And that's what's happening. Like Kelsey is a great option in the middle of the field because when you've got a guy outside that can stretch it, you can't drop those safeties down to cover them. You don't have to have safeties dropping down. You can play your corners 8 yards off because they're not taking off on you. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, I guess that's enough of that. On to Arizona and Cleveland and what had to be the worst damn game I've seen all year. Cleveland just beat the hell out of them, and they did it with their defense because God knows their offense was abysmal. Like I tip my hat to Arizona. They've been doing it all year. Arizona has good defense. They really do.
Yeah.
They held the damn Browns to 40 carries for 113 yards. Ford couldn't get going. Hunt couldn't get going. Watson had to make a couple of plays. I don't really want to get into this too bad. When you see 27-0 on the board, I mean, is there anything you want to cover on that other than it looked like kitty litter? Like I was ready to throw kitty litter on that shit. It was so bad.
Nope.
Smelling up my TV. God awful nonsense.
That's one of the ones I just ignored. No part of it.
And then I want to get into let's get into this, right? I watched this game come down to the end, Minnesota and the Falcons, and I said, I just saw the game of the year.
Yeah.
Dobbs, he wasn't great. 20 of 30 for $158, but having not practiced at all with this team, he showed me something, right? Like he came in there and made some plays for him.
Yeah, 66 yards rushing too.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing it all, man. Go ahead, tell me about it. What'd you like?
Oh, God, I loved everything about that. I mean, damn fly. I watched the last few minutes of the game. So I saw I was going back and forth, but got done in the last few minutes of the game. And how does he come in, not knowing any of the receivers' names, tight ends' names, nobody's names, and be dialed in like that? And just be composed.
I don't know either. I mean, he's a pro.
It was crazy. You don't see, I mean, I guess if you go back to last year, Baker Mayfield had 5 days of the Rams and they beat the Raiders. But that was the Raiders too. So, I mean, I'm not going to count that.
Well, they beat the Broncos too. So,
yeah.
But that was my sorry ass donkeys.
Good Lord, yeah. He was composed. And one of the scrambles he had was 22 yards towards the end of the game to get him the scoring position.
Yeah, I mean,
and then the darted through the Powell for the game winner. It's like, crap, man. And people were doubting. They're like, what they do? Why are they doing this? Well, people need to just chill out. Armchair GMs out there and in fantasy football world and football world needs to just chill out and just let the teams know what they're doing, man.
What impressed me was with Minnesota with Jaron Hall when he first, like the rookie came in the game, right? They had him doing bootlegs nonstop. They kept doing it over and over again. He was 5 of 6 to start this game. They could not stop his bootleg action. I don't know what it was about what they had designed. The offensive coordinator and head coach had a hell of a good way of going at this. They attacked it right. Taylor Heineke, he's going to be playing football a long time. He'll be a great backup in the NFL for a lot of years. I did see where the head coach of the Falcons addressed why he's not giving Bijan Robinson more touches. Did you hear what this clown said?
What did he say?
This moron said, well, he's great because he opens up so many other players when we use him as a decoy. A decoy?
I heard that, but I thought I was hearing things.
He said that ignorant shit. You didn't draft this kid that early in the draft to use him as a decoy. Throw a scarecrow on the field. That's your decoy. That's a playmaker. What a jackass, man. If that dude doesn't get fired, oh, my God.
He had 11 carries for 55 yards. Or
something along those lines. Yeah,
that's 5 yards a carry for 11. So if you do that, I'm yelling inside my house. It's echoing.
Because this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life, man. Robinson, who can catch the ball. Two catches.
So 13,
catches.
13 touches.
13 touches for a top 10 pick at running back that you swore you were going to use. This team has gotten away from what it was at the beginning of the season when they were having those two backs touch the ball 40 times. And that's why you just lost to the Minnesota Vikings and a third-string running back, because you're not smart enough to do what everybody thinks you should be doing. If everybody in the room's telling you to run this kid, guess what you should be doing? Morons.
He's too pig-headed. He can't get out of his own damn way.
He really can't.
Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens if let's say they win out. Will they keep him as a coach or not?
Yeah, dude, he's going to have to change everything he's doing. If I'm a fan of the Vikings or the Falcons and I'm watching this, he would have to change everything he's doing as a Falcons head coach for me to want him to stay. You would have to be getting that running back the ball 20 times and the other one feeding him at least 15. Otherwise, I got no faith in you. We don't deserve nice things. We don't deserve nice things. You don't know what to do with them.
It should be a 70-30 split, at the most 60-40 at that.
I agree.
And then they have Algier at the 5-yard line trying to run it in, and oh god, I was so pissed. It was just
New Orleans fans think that Atlanta's doing an amazing job, and Siegel don't think they're winning out. So I think you're good there.
Okay.
So like I said, I saw the game of the year, and then I saw the other game of the year: Houston and Tampa Bay. That C.J. Stroud sucked.
What a stud.
What an absolute golden find by the Houston Texans. They did their homework. I was nervous of this kid, and everybody knows why. Ohio State quarterbacks do not have a good history of working out on the NFL stage. They just don't. This kid's proven everybody wrong. How did he make that comeback in 27 seconds or something insane?
46 seconds.
I was dumbfounded by what I saw. Tampa Bay takes the lead. Baker Mayfield playing out of his mind, and C.J. Stroud just goes bam, 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 touchdown. Thank you, man.
He said,
the kid's amazing.
Here, Baker, hold my beer. Let me show you how it's done. And then bam, Tank Dell, bam. And
that kid's also another great player. Another great player is Tank Dell. They found another good one.
Yeah.
He had 6 for $114. I mean,
and they have Noah Brown going off. Dalton Schultz going off. God, Noah Brown. Come on, man.
If you're gonna have a game, this is when you have a game.
Yeah. They Houston exposed the crappy secondary that Tampa Bay has.
This is why I love our audience. Today, Larry said he read that he had a Joe Montana moment. Told his offensive line, give me some time and I'm going to make them pay.
Yeah.
That's some brass stones on that kid. Good for him, man.
He also said, I watched the press conference, he also said some other stuff too about, just he's a very faith-based kid. Very, very faith-based kid. So
clearly he's got God's arm, because that was amazing.
Yeah. And the sad thing, was he talked down about because he didn't go to the Peyton Manning's camp, and so they didn't think that he really wanted to play football or something stupid like that?
I don't think I've heard anything like that. The only thing I ever heard was he's an Ohio State quarterback, and that is going to make people nervous, man. It just is. You can't take so many of those kids in the first round and have them not work out before you start to think, okay, is this guy a system-based guy, or was he the one making the plays? And you look at Ohio State this year and you go, no, that kid was making the plays. That was clearly that kid. Like Marvin Harrison Jr.'s like, where the hell is CJ? How do I get there? Amazing. On to the other ass kicking of the weekend. We had 2 of them. Baltimore bludgeoned the Seattle Seahawks to death. Just wouldn't let them get up off the mat. Lamar Jackson, something you didn't see. He ran a little bit more in this game, I thought Lamar did. He was running a little bit more. And I don't want to dwell on this too much. I think Geno Smith has fallen back to earth from last year. What do you think, Ron? Am I wrong there? Because he looks like Geno.
No, he started doing that towards the end of last year. You could see it coming towards the end of last year. You could see it coming. He was coming back down to earth, like you said. I'm happy for it. I can't stand the Seahawks, man. I just can't stand them. So anytime I see get their butts kicked like that, I'm happy, man.
But Pete Carroll was your guy.
No. Well,
he was the USC king.
Okay, I liked him at USC, but he comes to the NFL and wants to chew his damn gum. Yam, yam, yam. I just want to punch him in the mouth, man. Just if I had like virtual reality TV, my fist be going through the like that. Every time I saw him chewing the gum. Make him choke.
Spoken like a true hate. Anyway, he got his ass kicked this weekend. Geno Smith came back down to earth. Their run defense, you see why they traded for Williams from the Giants. They got some problems on that team.
Well, that didn't do any good for him, did it?
Well, I'll give them a break on this one because it's the first game with them. They got to learn how to play with each other. It'll probably take them 3 games to get adjusted to this, but that was ugly. On to New Orleans and Chicago in a game that shouldn't have been this close.
No.
What? All right. Oh, New Orleans, y'all got to help me out, man. I have been impressed with your defense for most of the year. I have. They've played some tough games, and they've kept it close. The last 3 games, they have suddenly looked like shit. I mean, they gave up 31 to the Jaguars. They gave up 27 to the Colts. Then they just gave up 17 to the Bears with a backup nobody's heard of. I got concerns about New Orleans' defense right now. Lots of concerns. Am I alone there? I mean, because it doesn't look the same, man. It just doesn't look the same all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know. I don't think they're playing down to the Chicago team and wasn't taking it serious, but they don't look like they did at the beginning of the season. Because the biggest season, they're a top 5 team, top 5 defense. Now I think they're probably closer to 10, maybe out of the top 10 now.
It's ugly. I don't want to dwell on it. New Orleans has got to get better. They've got to start tightening up that defense. They got to start getting after the quarterback. They got to start stopping the run because that was their biggest thing this game. They couldn't stop the run to save their life. Carr still, I mean, he had a decent game. They didn't get Kamara involved enough as far as I was concerned. That's all I got on that game. You got anything else?
Yeah, Carr's doing enough to win games right now. That's all he.
Well, he ain't doing much. He ain't doing much.
He's 2 touchdowns, 250 yards. So.
I mean, right now, Carr's on a spare tire. They better figure out how to get that bitch punctured, man. It ain't looking good right now. I'm not like what I've seen. Now we got to talk about another one of your LA teams. This is why Brett Rippon should not have a starting job in the NFL. You saw it, and that's all I'm going to say on it. He's not good. He shouldn't be a backup. He's a practice squad guy. And you guys did what today?
And they said, "You're fired."
Yes, they pulled a Vince McMahon and sent him to the curb.
Yeah.
I knew when you got him. I had him in Denver. I know what he is. He's not a good backup.
But I think with the Rams, because I've been going back and forth with some of the content creators with the Rams, they've been whining about Carson Wentz thing. I think the Rams didn't want to spend the money, so they held off, and then they saw the atrocity that happened on Sunday, and said, "Nope, I gotta open up the checkbook and get a real." What's he saying?
Carson Carras, you're up. I mean, did they have to call Carson Wentz up out of the tree to get him to come down out of his deer stand? You know the guy was hunting.
Something, I don't know, but I think he'll be ready to go. I think Stafford's hurt more than they're letting on too. So I think
so too.
I think that's one of the reasons why
now.
Yeah, that's one of the other reasons why they did it, because being in the NFC is kind of a weak division, so they're only like 2 games out of the 7th spot.
It looked bad. Look, it looks bad.
Oh,
I mean, if I'm the Rams right now and Stafford ain't right, I'm eating the L's and I'm trying to get that top 5 pick and hopefully get a quarterback. That's just me. It was ugly. I don't want to dwell on it too long because I don't want to make you feel too bad. God knows.
Oh no. Hey, wait. Let me explain. With the Rams, I went in season no expectations, so I don't get too pissed off. I did a couple games, like the Bengals game, because they should have won. But
John said they called Carson Wentz from my backyard. He's got a tree stand back there.
Shut up, John. Jeez.
On to the Washington game. Washington had a fire sale. It was gloom and doom. It was all coming down. And then we saw just how bad New England is. Again, another game I don't want to get into. New England's got not a good football team right now, folks.
No.
They're not, and it's not the head coach. The quarterback's not good. The offensive line's not very good. The defense needs to be rebuilt. They had a hell of a run, but it's time to completely rebuild this thing.
Yeah,
and the rumors swirling about Belichick going to Washington. Who in the hell made that up? Get that shit out of here, man. I don't want to hear that nonsense.
No, they'll fire Bill O'Brien, have McDaniels come back.
Just awful. Home. I watched a little bit of the Carolina Colts game. I don't want to get into that. Bryce Young does not look good.
No.
3 interceptions. I got serious doubts about that kid right now. I know he's a rookie and you got to give him time, but he looks slight. He doesn't look like the other quarterbacks. He's not making the progression they are. I've got some concerns right now.
And there's concerns going in too when with
so
that.
that's almost about that. Your Raiders. I did want to give you a minute about your Raiders because this was a complete ass whipping. I mean, there were some good games, and then there were games like this, 30-6, and I had a feeling they were going to come out on fire with their heads on fire for this game, and they were.
Damn.
And I feel bad for what happened to the Giants quarterback. He's done for the season. Jones is gone.
Yeah.
And you just feel bad because that's probably the last game he's going to play for the Giants.
Yeah, I'll take the win. It was against the Giants, against Danny DeVito or whoever the quarterback's name was.
It was a DeVito. It was. I mean, you got that right. I mean, he played like him. Good God, 15-20 with 2 picks.
But
some of those picks he threw too was just like, what are you doing?
I know. I just liked the way they came out with fire. They came out to play. They ran the ball. They did what Antonio Pierce said, that he won the front lines, the trenches, to bully the other trenches, and that's what they did. Yeah. So I think he's got him dialed in, but we'll see. We'll see if they play the Dolphins in 2 weeks. They play Jets Monday, or they play Jets Saturday night or Sunday night.
I'd have to look ahead. We'll look ahead here just a minute. I don't know, but congratulations, your Raiders defense came out to play. They were all smoking cigars. I think that was to get the smell out of the room from what Josh McDaniels left. So good for them.
And you heard what happened too about how he lost the locker room, right?
Yes, I did. And I think I sent you the story.
Yeah, you did.
Go ahead. Tell everybody what happened, because it's the most ridiculous. It's the most Josh McDouche thing ever.
Big time. So the Thursday after the debacle of the Detroit game, they had a players and coaches meeting, and they're letting McDaniels have it. Big time. Letting them have it. And so Daniels said, well, hey, Antonio Pierce, you don't want to speak up for the coaches. So Tony Pierce said, yeah, I'll do that. So he goes up and he starts telling the Raiders about just in 2007, nobody thought the Giants would do anything. And then look what we did. We beat the Patriots. And McDaniels came up to him and said, you will never talk about the Patriots like that again. And that's when everything's went.
Does that not sum up that dude's mindset in that
big
one
time
story?
Yep.
But you're coaching the Raiders and you're still putting your Patriots on a pedestal. Yep. That dude will never get a head coaching job again. I don't know that you can let him work for anybody else again when that story gets out.
No. And
I don't see how.
No. Then they hired Antonio Pierce, who I didn't know was from Compton and used to roll with NWA and wearing the Raiders hats at the Coliseum. He's been a Raider for life. Then there's a story David Carr was saying about when Pierce was a Giant and the Giants had just beat the Raiders, and David Carr was kind of talking down about him, and Pierce told him, you don't talk about my team like that. So he's a Raider. Man. He gets it. I mean,
I'll be happy for you for one game, but this is the only game.
Oh, that's okay.
This is the game.
I'll take it.
On to the Philadelphia and the Dallas Cowboys. All right, Dallas fans, y'all got to let this shit go, man. Y'all got to let this go. One call in this game did not cost you this game, okay?
No.
You were losing 28-7 going into the fourth quarter. You did not do enough to win this football game. I got news for you. You just didn't. You just didn't. You couldn't run the ball for save your life. You just didn't do enough to win the football game. The Eagles came up with more touchdowns, and that's how this works, right? You had more first downs. I'll grant you. Passing yards. You had more passing yards. Where was it at that you didn't do so well? Let me see if I can find that stat. Yeah, the score. That's what it was. You didn't score enough points. Stop complaining. Have you ever seen more crying in your life than the Cowboys fans over one call in this game? It was absurd.
Oh, yeah. You see some of the things that come across by the Rams fans. It's crazy.
Oh, well.
But
I
every
saw it and I was like, look, man,
yeah,
that play could have gone either way. It really could have. If they called it non-touchdown, that's how it's going to stand. Right? I mean, you didn't see enough to where it showed.
The no-call pass interference?
No, where the touchdown with the tight end.
Oh, but he wasn't in. You can see
that he wasn't in. I know, but they're screaming saying he was in. I'm like, I don't see where anybody can say that guy was in the end zone.
No.
It wasn't definitive. It wasn't clear. You lost the game. You lost to a division opponent. I know it's a tough loss. Eat the L.
And what's going on with McCarthy and not using Pollard like he should? Last year, Pollard was going off. I know everybody's saying, well, he's got the usage is going up, so he's not going as fast and blah, blah, blah. But last year, he's getting a lot more screen plays.
You talking about Pollard?
Yeah, and now he's not doing
I don't know. He doesn't look the same to me. Like, it looks like that speed he had last year is suddenly gone. I don't see that same zip in his step. I just haven't seen it.
No, but if you're running up the middle instead of on the outside and doing sweeps, then yeah, because last year that's where he got most of his yards doing on the outside runs.
Well, they also had a lot of outside passes to him last year, if you remember. He had a lot of games like that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
nothing
man.
This year.
I can't explain it.
Yeah, no, I mean, even watching the game, it's like a couple of times in the red zone, he'd go out and he'd be open, and Prescott would look at him, and then it's like throw again. Just throw it to Schumacher, who can't get in the damn end zone.
I don't get it either. Like what I'm seeing in Pollard is like night and day from last year. He does not look like the same quick back. And I know you're saying get him outside. I don't know he has the speed to get it outside, and that might be why they're not getting him out there. He took a lot of hits last year, man. He took a lot of hits. Yeah. Them running backs, they only got so many hits in them before it's over with, and then it's over.
But McCarthy is a very running back friendly system either, because look at when he was with Green Bay, he didn't use Aaron Jones right away. When Floor came in, all that switched. Yeah,
they were getting him a lot, and he got a lot of his yards on that little short passing like Kamara.
Mm-hmm,
so
exactly,
I don't disagree with you. I don't know that I see the same running back.
Yeah,
I talked about Dallas too long already. On to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's back, boys, and you better take notice. You better take, because they could not run the ball. They could not run the ball in this game to save their life. 22 for 54 yards. Could not run the ball. But they ran it just enough to keep you honest. And he only took one sack, he being Joe Burrow. 348 yards. T. Higgins finally had a breakout game. I think maybe he's getting fresh again. He's getting healthy again. And our boy Manny put out there on Twitter, who do I think the two best teams are? I think Cincinnati's one of them right now. I really do. And it's not because of Joe Burrow and everything else. They have a complete team. They have a complete offense. The running game wasn't working. They threw it deep and got big plays. The defense got after Josh Allen and shut down their big play game. That's just, I don't know what you thought. That's what I saw the whole game. Cincinnati did everything as a complete team.
Yeah, Buffalo doesn't look like they're Buffalo. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, something looks off, man.
There's something off about them and their offense and stuff. There's just something off, and I can't put my finger on. I mean, they could say, oh, Josh Allen has a shoulder going on with something with his shoulder stuff, but there's something more than that that's off. That I can't put my finger on. Cincinnati is looking like Cincinnati, like the team that's going to be in the championship game.
That's what they look like to me. So
yeah,
I think we've covered that enough. I'm not going to say much about the Jets and the Chargers last night. That shit was over at halftime. That was terrible. Yeah, I mean, I was able to go to bed last night at 9:00 and close my eyes knowing that garbage was off my TV and I can go to bed.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts on that piece of shit we had to watch last night?
I was just watching it just because of fantasy football purposes, and then, of course, those 8 checkdowns of Michael Carter. If he'd thrown 2 more passes to Wilson, I would have won.
Look, I was playing against a guy that had Hall and the Chargers running back. God, why is his name escaping me
Eckler.
Right now? Yeah, Eckler. I was playing against that guy. I won by 4 points. I was panicking last night when I saw Eckler get the first touchdown. I was like, oh, shit. Come on, man. You guys got to hold it. When he got the second one, I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God I escaped. And that's what I did in fantasy football this week was escape.
Yeah,
On to week 10 in the NFL. You ready to talk about that? Or you want to talk some more fantasy?
No. We're good. I don't want to live in the past. That was the past. I need to move into the future now.
Week 10, I'm going to give you the game I can't wait to watch. You can give me yours. San Francisco and Jacksonville. San Francisco's got to get off the schneid. Jacksonville has been gutty, but has it not been great? I can't wait to watch this game. I think it's going to be fascinating. What do you got for me this weekend?
Yeah, you stole it. I was looking at the games. And I go, I'm going to say this game because I don't think Don will say it. So, yep, that's the game I'm interested in because is Frisco is Purdy going to bounce back? Is Jacksonville's defense as good as they seem to be? They're playing in Jacksonville. I think. What's the spread on that?
Good question. Let me look down here at this. It is San Francisco, a 3-point road favorite.
Oh no, I would take Jacksonville. It's gonna be an interesting game.
I don't know about that.
I think Evan Ingram's gonna have a big game.
All right, I'll tell you what. I gave you that. Here's 2 more games to look out for this weekend. New Orleans and Minnesota are 2 5-4 teams. That could swing one of their years right there. That could absolutely be one of their years. And Washington goes to Seattle to play.
Yeah.
4-5 Washington goes to 5-3 Seattle. That could be sneaky good. Boys and girls, if you're thinking about watching Thursday night, do your laundry. It's Carolina versus Chicago. Spend time with your family.
But it's football. See, people complain about that, and then come after football season, people go, "I miss football." Well,
I miss it. Don't get me wrong.
Did quit complaining. I'm watching this football.
I'll have it on, but I guarantee you that game's watching me by 9 o'clock, and I'm not watching it.
Yeah,
that's all I got this week, buddy. You got anything else?
No, brother, I don't, man.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Check us out on Twitter. I'm at Bust and Move. Ron, what's your handle?
High Desert Ron.
High Desert Ron. Give us a follow. We are the Squared Circle Maniacs, and this was Squared Circle Gridiron.
Peace.